I love coming into this show with more questions than answers. I've got the smartest audience in the world. You have been insightful, you're smart, you're diligent, you're strong. And I have a major question right now about how this is going to look when the country starts to open up again. Because I really can't get a handle on it. I can't get an answer on what this looks like. Welcome back to our kitchen. It is Wednesday, April the 8th. Lots of still despair and angst and sadness as people continue to die. There was a big death count yesterday. The numbers are still grim. There are weird stories on the side, like the Chicago mayor, Lori Lightfoot, running off to get a haircut after she tells people to stay home. And her argument was, well, she has to run the city, so essentially she has to look good. What's my excuse? We'll get into a lot of the tertiary stuff as well. We have a daily sort of therapy session that I have become very fond of. Don't know what I'd do without you and what I'd do without this radio show. But the president talks about opening with a big bang. I'm not disagreeing with the president. He has been, frankly, in the middle of this and strong, and he's been Trump, you know? He's running the show. He's large and in charge. He tangles with the reporters. People like it, people don't. It's who he is. It shouldn't be a surprise. If he says he'd like to see us open with the bang, he also, of course, wanted to have all the churches open on Easter, and sadly we know that was aspirational, but it's not going to happen. I don't know what this looks like. There will not be a switch because I believe we have to accept one grim kind of reality, that even when we start reopening, there will still be coronavirus cases. And you know what the rallying cry is going to be then. They're going to start screeching like banshees that people are dying unnecessarily because Trump insisted on opening the country. And that's going to be a very difficult decision. I have been with the government and with many of the governors and with the CDC and with Fauci and with Birx that we are staying home for good reason. Right now, the latest death projection for the United States is around 81,000 by the end of August. Now, that's horrible for those 81,000 families, for their loved ones. It's a terrible, terrible thing that is nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault. This wasn't a terror attack. This wasn't, a criminal act. This was a series of horrific things that started in apparently a wet market in Wuhan, China, because somebody ate a pangolin and transmitted this to the world. I'm not smart enough to still understand how one person can infect the world like this, but that's what they tell us. So there will be additional cases. There's no way that all of a sudden we're going to wake up one day and nobody has COVID-19. Nobody's sick. Nobody's in the hospital. Nobody's walking around that might not. It's going to happen. They're still getting on subways in New York City, crowd packed in like sardines. They're still gathering in parks. There's places all over America where people are coming into contact with other people. It's a fraction of what it used to be, but it's there. Got to be enough to transmit, I would think. So what does the reopening of the country look like? And when we do begin to reopen, to try to get this economy going again and people back to work and people getting paychecks again and people getting a sigh of relief in their life because they can't live this way forever. When that day comes and they start screaming that the government and particularly Trump are killing people, are we going to be strong enough to push back against that? Or is that narrative going to rule the day? Well, Americans, I think we have to start looking at what this looks like when we start coming back to, and I say normal, we'll never probably fully be normal, I guess. I know I'm going to wash my hands all the time. I know, frankly, I'm not shaking anybody's hand probably again. I'm going to be sure that I'm sanitizing and I'm doing things that I've never done before. I've never done before. Washing food off all the time. I've never really been that great about that kind of stuff. Most of you probably have been. I'm just kind of a doofus that way. But what is it going to look like? And when it does, I'm just telling you, I can see this freight train coming down the track. When we start to reopen and they're going to start screeching in the media that Trump is killing people, will the American people be able to shake that off? Or will that narrative take the day? Let's just spend a few minutes on that. 800-655-MIKE as we welcome you back into the Relief Factor mobile studios for a Wednesday, April the 8th, 2020, as we're getting through some of the worst, terrible outbreak in Louisiana, many deaths, almost 600 deaths, over 16,000 cases in Louisiana alone. Give me your assessment of what it's going to look like when we start opening for business. How bad will it be? Give me your prediction. Stare into your little crystal ball and give old Gallagher a call. Old because now I'm 60. Thank you for all the many birthday wishes yesterday, incidentally. I had actually a great birthday. I'll tell you more about that later. Hard to believe you could have a birthday in a pandemic, in isolation. 800-655-6453. Press 1 to come on air with us. Press 2 to leave a voicemail message. You can always text me your comments to the MyPillow text line, which is also 800-655-MIKE.